All right, Penn Nation, we have tons of talent on the show all the time, lots of up-and-coming guys, lots of hot prospects in the sport. But today, my friends, we have a guy that I am personally very excited to speak with. Please welcome to the show the silent assassin himself, Vicente Luque. Thank you for joining us today, Vicente. How are you doing today, man?
Hey, man, I'm doing good. Thank you guys for having me.
Where are you calling us from today?
From Brazil. I'm in Brazil right now.
Very good, very good. Putting in hard work in the gym as always, I presume?
Yeah, as always, man. I'm never able to be more than 1 week without training. I'm always training, and so that's what I'm doing for sure.
Very good, very good. So there's much to discuss, but first things first, man. You're coming off that sensational knockout over Chad Laprise in May at UFC Fight Night Chile. How happy were you with that performance?
Well, man, I was really, really happy for that performance. It was a special fight for me. I got a lot of family in Chile. My grandmother was there watching me fight. My dad was there, my mother, everybody. So it was really special for me, and to get the win in the way I got it. I mean, it was the best thing I could ask for. So I was really excited for that.
Yeah, it doesn't get much better than that. And on top of it, you know, fighting in front of family like that, is that the first time your grandmother got to see you compete?
Yeah, it is, and actually it's the second time. I've seen my grandmother 2 times, 14 years ago and now this year, because she lives in Chile. My dad lives in New Jersey, and my mother lives in Brazil. So I've always been like in New Jersey, Brazil, and Florida, but I don't go much to Chile. So she hadn't seen me in 14 years, so it was really special.
Wow, man, that's a beautiful thing, beautiful thing. That win brings you to 6-2 in the UFC with wins over some very tough guys. What's next for you, man? I know you were hoping for a fight with Carlos Condit. Has there been any update on that?
Not yet. I have had no update on that. Man, I want to fight, top guys, whoever. The truth is I'm ready to fight anyone. I feel like I have the skill and the talent, and I put in the hard work to fight anybody in the division. I would happily fight any of the top 15, top 10 guys. I'm ready to fight anyone. I mean, the UFC has their plans. They know what they do with their fights, but I'm ready to fight anyone. Carlos Condit would be a great fight. If not, Donald Cerrone or some of these guys, they're guys that are up there. They have big names, and they're great fighters. And I want to fight these guys. I want to fight guys that are going to put a challenge to me, and are guys that already have been great prospects and ranked guys. These are the guys I want to be fighting.
Absolutely, and you want to continue to build on your own legacy, move up the ladder, and get closer to that eventual title shot. But when it comes to Condit, he's a guy that anybody in your division would love to compete against. How do you think you match up with him stylistically, though?
I mean, I think he's a guy, he's a wrestler, first of all, but he's a striker at the same time. He has really good striking. So, I mean, I see a striking fight, but I know that he's going to try to wrestle at some point. I believe I have the better striking. I think wrestling, he might have a bit of an edge, but I'm working a lot. I've been working a lot. I have a Cuban guy that used to be in the Cuban team in Cuba of wrestling, and now he's here in Brazil helping me out with my wrestling. So I think that's maybe a strong point of Condit, but I'm working on that. And on the ground, I know he's really well-rounded, and I'm really well-rounded as well. I got my submissions as he has his, so I see a tough fight for sure, but I think I have the edge on most part of the game.
Yeah, and when it comes to training your wrestling, you can't get much better than a guy on the Cuban team, right?
Yeah, for sure, man. Cubans are tough, and he doesn't compete anymore, but he always comes and trains with me, man, and that guy's strong. It's crazy. These guys are weird.
Right. You look at Yoel Romero, right? Same thing.
Yeah.
So, Condit, he's had a string of bad luck lately, but still very dangerous and a household name. Like we were just talking about, he's the kind of opponent that you really need to move to the next level in the welterweight division, right?
Yeah, for sure, man. I think he's a guy that, he has had big fights. He has fought for the title, I think, 2 or 3 times. I think 2 times. And he's a tough guy all the time, man. I mean, his last fight against the Brazilian Cowboy, man, that was a tough fight for both of them. He was doing really well, and then Cowboy got the win at the end. But he's a tough guy, and this is the kind of competition I need to move forward. I've been showing what I can do. I go in there and I finish fights. That's my style. I'm not looking for a finish at all moments, but it's just my style. I fight forward. I don't hold myself back and I don't try to fight like safe, let's say. I fight in my comfort zone, but my comfort zone is always looking for the fight, always trying to get that finish. And, you know, I think that I've been finishing guys, but I still don't have like any really big name under my belt. So that's what I need. I need a guy like Condit to really get a win over a big name and then keep going up.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, man, and I certainly hope that one of those big fights is on the horizon for you. Aside from Condit, you know, you mentioned Donald Cerrone. Who else is on your radar right now? What matchups make the most sense for you?
I mean, those two fights I think are really good fights, and I mean, I didn't think about any other fights really by now. I mean, I would like to fight any guys, some ranked guys I really would interest in fighting in. Like, I would like to fight Masvidal. I think that guy is a great boxer. You know, he has really good boxing, and I like to fight guys that have good striking because I'm a striker myself, so I like to challenge myself. I like to go out there and fight with the best guys. Darren Till is going to fight for the title, and that's a guy that I would love to fight as well. Thompson also. So any of these strikers, you know, I really want to fight them just to test myself and to go out there and prove my striking. But I'm definitely ready to fight anyone, wrestlers as well. I wouldn't mind fighting wrestlers.
Yeah, and it's not to say that there's not a ton of talent to choose from in the welterweight division as well, so plenty of guys to choose from. I'm sure you'd also love the rematch with Leon Edwards as well.
For sure, definitely, man. That's something I'm always looking forward. I know it will come in its time. I mean, he's doing super well in the division. He's climbing and getting good wins. So I think it's natural. I keep winning. He keeps winning. Eventually, we're going to fight against each other for sure. And I definitely want that rematch.
Yeah, I'd love to see it as well. I mean, it was a decision. Every time it goes to decision, there's always something left in the octagon that, you know, you wish you saw a little bit more, a finish for somebody. So you guys definitely have some unfinished business there. But what's the ideal time frame for you? You know, do you have your eyes set on any date or card in particular for your return to action?
I mean, September, October would be ideal for me, man. I mean, maybe UFC São Paulo, maybe Vegas in early October. Any of that would be, you know, I think the perfect timing for me. I'm feeling super healthy, super well in training. Now I'm starting to intensify, so I already have my mindset for end of September, early October. That's what I'm looking for. We'll see if it works out, but that's what I'm kind of getting ready for.
Now, are you the kind of guy that stays in fight shape year-round and has the weight down year-round to the point where if somebody was to drop out of a fight, you could maybe be a last-minute replacement and get one of these fights that you're looking for?
Yeah, I definitely keep myself ready all the time. I mean, that has happened to me 2 times, once in UFC 205 in New York and São Paulo last year. Also, I got it with 11th day notice. I always keep myself ready. I'm not a light guy, but I'm not heavy either. Like, I keep myself at around 195, 190, so that's easy for me to drop in 2 weeks or a week and a half. I can drop that no problem. So I'm always keeping myself ready, and I'm always training. So I know that no matter when the fight comes, if it's short notice or not, I'm going to be in shape and go out there and perform.
Now, the division is a little strange right now. You've got Till fighting Woodley, as you mentioned before. Colby is getting stripped of the interim title. No real clear contenders behind those guys. It seems like right now is a great time for a guy like yourself to seize a big opportunity.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think my division is one of the toughest in the UFC. I mean, there's a lot of talent and a lot of fighters. So I think the opportunity is always there. And the thing is, be in shape, get the right fights, and keep winning fights. You know, it's about winning fights. Up to a point, it's about talking and going out there to the media, but I'm not so much of that kind of guy. I mean, I like to talk with my fists and get inside the cage. That's where I do my talking. So I believe in getting and being trained as much as I can, get the right fights, go out there, perform, do the best that I can do, get my knockouts, get my submissions, and I'm sure I'm going to climb up the division and get to that title fight.
Yeah, you know, the marketability of yourself is something I wanted to touch on here in a moment, but speaking of Woodley versus Till, who do you like in that matchup?
Man, I like both guys. I think both guys have nice styles. You know, Woodley has a lot of strength, and he's a great wrestler. I would see him maybe like if it goes more than 3 rounds, I think he would have the advantage because he has also fought more 5-round fights in Till. But Till is tough, and he showed on his last fight he could go 5 rounds, and he can really go out there and just fight for 5 rounds with no problem. I don't know if you wrestle with him, he will still have the same conditioning because his fight with Thompson was mostly striking.
Right.
But I believe I think the favorite is Tyron Woodley, but Till is a tough guy. He might get a knockout or something like that, but I'm not sure. I think Tyron Woodley will win.
Right. Woodley's definitely going to be the favorite going in, but I agree with you. Till has the opportunity or the possibility to shock the world. There's always that issue of the weight cut. Will he make weight? Will he make championship weight? That'll remain to be seen. But I'm wondering, in regards to Colby Covington, do you think it was fair for the UFC to decide to strip him, in your opinion?
I mean, it's hard to say what's fair and what's not fair. I mean, I think it's different visions. The UFC has one way of thinking, and other people don't think the same sometimes. Other people think the same. It's, for me, I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't even have made the interim title yet, but at the same time, I don't know. It's their choice. It's their call.
Right.
So, who knows? What I think is, like, even if he doesn't have the interim title, I think he should get a shot eventually. So right after Till and Woodley fight, he should be next for that. So I don't know. I don't know how the UFC is going to do about that.
Right. It's just very strange happenings in the welterweight division. But when you look at the guys in the elite at 170, I know you've kind of made this clear all along, but it sounds to me like you're very confident that you can already hang with the best of them right now at this point in your career.
Yeah, I definitely feel that I'm ready right now to be fighting with the top guys. I have no doubt about it. I mean, a guy that I train a lot with is Kamaru Usman, and he's up there, and I know the absurd talent that he has and quality and hard work he puts in. And I feel, man, up there, right up there with him, you know. We train together. We help each other. I help him with what I can with striking. He helps me out with wrestling and what he can. So, you know, I feel extremely confident that I'm ready to compete up there with those guys, you know, with all these guys, top 10, top 5, no problem.
Yeah, and when you talk about training and wrestling and working on that, what a better guy to have in the gym with you than Kamaru Usman.
Yeah, for sure, man. That guy's a beast in wrestling. He's a beast in everything, and his striking is improving too, so it's scary. And he's strong, weirdly strong, for sure.
Right. So changing gears here for a moment. As I mentioned in the beginning of the interview, you're one of the many prospects in the UFC that I personally have big hopes for. It all started with the KO over Bilal Muhammad at UFC 205. Honestly, man, I'm sure you hear this all the time, but you remind me of a young Shogun Hua with a wider skill set. Is that a fair assessment in your opinion?
That's totally fair, man. Shogun is one of my biggest idols. When I started fighting, I used to fight with the bad boy shorts, like shorts. So, you know, I always wanted to fight kind of like his style. I think that the sport evolved after that, so I always try to keep myself improving, footwork and wrestling and jiu-jitsu, lucha libre, all these kind of different things that I've been working. So if you compare me to Shogun, that's for sure, man. I'm happy with that.
It's just something about your style, man. I mean, watching you compete, that killer instinct, like you were talking about earlier, you know, you're not hunting for the finish, but the style of your fighting, it just lends itself to getting a finish, man. I mean, you go forward. Honestly, just watching you compete, I said to myself the first time I saw you fight, that guy's a young Shogun Hua, and I think his future is bright. So, and like I said earlier, with the marketability, man, you know, I feel like you're a very marketable guy. You speak perfect English. You represent Brazil and America. You go for the finish every fight. In my opinion, you know, the UFC should be giving you a bigger push to that stardom. Do you think that push is coming for you soon? And do you think the UFC recognizes that marketability that you have?
Yeah, man, I think it's coming soon. I think they recognize it. I think I still have to get those big wins. But I think it's going to happen, you know. I respect my time. I'm still a young guy. I'm 26 years old. And I've been fighting professionally since I'm 17. So, you know, at the same time I'm young, I feel like I am kind of a veteran in the sport. So I understand that my time is coming. I'm improving in every area. I still have a lot to grow, and that's like every single fight. If you talk to me about my fight in Chile, like people look at that fight and they say, hey, this guy knocked that out knock the guy out like if it was nothing. But I see a whole bunch of mistakes on my game, so I know how much I still can improve. So I know that my time is coming, and I'm just getting better. I'm just starting. So for sure the future is going to be good, and I know that the UFC will see that eventually and push me forward.
It sounds to me like you're one of those guys who immediately when you get backstage after a fight, you're already picking apart your performance.
Yeah, for sure, man. When I get back there, like everybody is, hey, man, just be happy for the win. No, I gotta see what I gotta get better now because it's one win, but I got, I don't want this win now. I want all the wins till I get to the title, and after I get the title, I want to keep defending my title. So, I'm always thinking about the future and about getting better and seeing my mistakes, so I'm at the best fighter I can be.
Well, that's the work ethic of a champion. I have no doubt you will be a future champion. But real quick, I mentioned Shogun, compared you to Shogun. Just to get your opinion on this real quick, after that devastating knockout that he just suffered, a lot of people are calling for his retirement. I'm not so quick to say that, but, maybe let him fight some legend guys for legacy. Where do you stand on Shogun's career, and, what do you think he has left in him?
Man, it's hard to say, I think it's mostly about his mindset, what he feels. If he still has that fire to train and go through the diet and cutting weight and all that, I definitely think he should continue competing. In my opinion, if I could go there and talk to him, I would maybe try to get him to the division to middleweight, but I don't know if he could make that. I don't know how heavy he is, but I think he's like the sport now. Guys are not so muscular anymore. They're more like tall and long. So he's not so long for light heavyweight anymore. I think at middleweight he would find himself better maybe. But I mean, if he has that fire in him and he wants to keep fighting, I think he definitely has to keep fighting, man. And I'm always excited to watch him fight. I was super excited to watch him fight now. It wasn't how I wanted the fight to end, but anyways, to see him go in there and do his thing is always nice.
Yeah, me too, man. All-time favorite of mine. It's always heartbreaking to see him lose, but I agree with you 100%, man. I think a lot of people have said this over the years. Somebody get him to drop to 185 and he could be champion. It's like, what the hell's going on here? But who knows what the future has in store for him. But again, I agree with you, man. Legend of the sport, and always very excited to watch him compete. But getting back to your own career, obviously, man, like we're talking about, you're on the cusp of breaking into the rankings. With a few more wins, you should definitely be in the conversation for the title shot. What's your game plan for the rest of the year and for 2019? Do you think we could see the Silent Assassin challenging for the belt sometime next year?
Man, hopefully. My plan this year is to get one fight, maybe two in still. I want to definitely one more fight, hopefully two more fights this year. And next year I'm going to be pushing hard for that, to get up there, climb the rankings, and go for that title, man, for sure.
Yeah, you just answered my next question perfectly. I was going to see, 2018, there's a fair amount of time left, but it sounds to you like one would be great, maybe two if it's possible and you don't sustain any injuries.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
But, man, I trust that I could get two in this year for sure.
All right, man, I certainly hope so. Well, I'll tell you, brother, I'm very much looking forward to your next fight and all that the future has in store for you, my friend. In conclusion, what would you say to Condit or any of these other guys to try to encourage them to sign a contract against you?
Man, I would say that if they want to, go out there and have fun and have a fight that the fans are going to be crazy about, just sign a contract to fight me. I always go in there to put on the show. I always go in there to fight for the people and for the people to be excited. I'm never the guy that is going to be booed. That's something I don't want ever to do, so I'm always going forward. And, man, if that's the kind of fight these guys want to have, sign a contract with me. That's what they're going to get.
All right, man, for sure. Again, greatly appreciate the time today, Vicente. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you. Hopefully we can catch up again when a fight gets announced. Any shout-outs or sponsor plugs before we let you go?
Oh, man, just shout-outs to everybody that helps me. All the team here in Brazil, Serrato MMA. Also the guys at Hard Knocks in Florida always helping me out. Henry Hooft, my coach Daniel here in Brazil. And just that Ali also. Ali's always working back there, man, backstage, getting those fights. So big shout-out to Ali, too.
All right, very good. Again, man, I can't stress it enough. You're a guy I've been watching for a while. I was very excited for this interview. I hope you enjoyed it as well. Have a great weekend, man, and obrigado.
Thank you, man. Obrigado você.
All right, have a good day, bud.
Good day, man.
Later.